Hi folks, this is Ted Cantu with the endofadvertising.com, and I want to share some ideas and insight with you. Today's question: how do I reach the right type of dental patients? And that is something that is really, it's an ongoing process. And you want to make sure that you're answering the right questions to people. And this information has to be communicated on your website pages. I am amazed and appalled at so many different websites that I come across that are trying to sell a group of services that are very high-end services, like implants or lumineers or veneers, or even Invisalign, for example. They only have like one paragraph, and that's only on one page. And I see a lot of people make this mistake with phone company websites, telecommunication companies that offer websites. Will only give you 5 pages. And that is a problem because you cannot compete on the grand scale of things. And depending on your location, you're competing with so many other websites that are out there, and they're all 5 pages, not just one. This is like an epidemic problem that we're facing in the media industry. It's a real problem. And you get lost in the shuffle. You get lost in the pile. And most importantly, you're not answering the question. You talk about what you do on a very frank, black and white point of view. You give the textbook definition for what you do, but you don't really answer the question. In other words, let's pick Invisalign, for example. How many weeks do I have to wear this brace? These braces. Maybe it's 36 months. Maybe it's 24 months, depending on the severity. Does it hurt? No. Or is it permanent? Will I experience a permanent change? And how expensive is it? Will my insurance cover it? Go into the details of some of these things, because that's what people are asking. If you're not addressing these problems and these situations and these issues, you're going to have a lot of problems selling, to be quite honest. And you don't have pages that do any kind of Q&A for any one of your services. You're not going to sell your high-end dental services. It's just a proven fact. We see this time and time again, and we ask that you take the time to answer the important question to support your bottom line. It only makes sense, but when you buy a pre-made ready site from a telecom group or a phone company, it just doesn't happen. You get 5 pages, and one of those pages is about us. Well, where you're located, your map, and usually a really trite statement. We appreciate, we love our customers. That's great, but your audience is very cynical and very jaded, and they're very price conscious, or they're very greedy, and they're only looking for what's going to serve them the best. And if you're not able to answer the questions, they're going to skip over you. Here's another thing about finding the right type of dental clients and customers. Are you aware that there's a certain age bracket of people that search on the web? They actually search by zip code. They search, they type in zip codes, they look for what they want. This is interesting, though, because I always find this very fascinating. There's no record of those searches being performed on Google search results. When you go to the Google AdWord tool, and you can check on and see what people are physically typing in to find your dentist practices, there's never any listing of people searching by zip code, but people do it, and they use the plus sign when they search for stuff. And I believe it's like usually people over 45, 50, not the younger kids so much, but it's mostly the older people, the older generation, will actually search by zip code. And if your pages aren't optimized that way, your services won't come up at all. And it always amazes me that that's a huge section of searchers that a lot of dentist offices miss. They don't address that. And of course, that business goes to your competitors in most cases. So that's another thing I want to address. If you could possibly figure out what it is that you really want out of your practice. Now, as far as how much money you want to make, how much time and effort that you want to spend with your clients or your patients, how many days a week that you want to work, get really clear and focused on that, but also get clear and focused on what kind of services that you want to provide, because ultimately that is going to be your customer base. And take a good look at your web pages if that's really where the problem is. A lot of businesses are using WordPress templates. That's fine. I have no problem with WordPress. In fact, up to about 3 years ago, it was a very hot technology. It's not that hot today, but it used to be even hotter then. It was great. I don't suggest that you make that your main website. If that's what you're using to bring in the cash to pay the bills every month and to keep your practice afloat, change it. Get an HTML site. Get some other sites that support it. Don't just rely on a blog website template to bring in clients and traffic, because it's not going to be enough. Just that one site alone is not going to be enough. And I say that because every time you do a blog post, it's going to push the subject off the main page, make its own separate page. Now, sometimes they do pop up on search results, but you have to put them together the right way. I'm talking about people that come to your website for the first time, look at page 1, what do they see? Do they see a thing about veneers? Do they see a thing about lumineers? Not always. Not if you're always pushing the links down. And your posts are always going to be pushing the content off the main page further down the line. You're not going to get that initial grab necessarily. There's a way you can do this where the blog and the website can cohabitate the same server space and actually help build upon each other's strengths. And that's a technical thing, but I like to have them both working together. And that's really typically what I like to see when I put together a site. So do keep that in mind, because staying relevant and being number one, and also being very, very conscious of your patient who is searching for you is very, very important. That's some insight for you. Also, too, if you can answer anybody's question on a video, that's a great thing to do. You have to answer any kind of questions at all that your dental patients are looking for. Put that into a video. Make sure that you put your website address on the video, like you're watching this one right now. The video address should be actually on the video itself. You should have a phone number on there, and also the website address needs to be inside your URL. Okay, make sure you do that, because that's going to help create a link back to your site, which will help you in the rankings as well. And you're going to want to do that. There's a proper way to do this. There's about 15 things, critical key points that you want to put in to your web videos to make sure they pop up. They pop up in a popular search results. So that's some insight on that. My name is Ted Cantu. I'm an ex-art director from the mean streets of advertising in Chicago, New York City, and Detroit. We put together a system that's going to help you become number one on the search engines and also put more patients in your dental chairs. So do give us a call, 248-631-9211. I want to thank you for watching today, and I'll see you online.